So today I want to talk to you about China's remarkable energy capacity. In fact, its growth in just the first quarter of 2023, because the stats are mind-blowing. From recent figures released by the NEA, or the National Energy Administration, some of these numbers are staggering. China has been making huge progress in terms of renewable energy in past years, and these new numbers just show how much progress has been made. So let's dive into some of those figures. So China in the first quarter of 2023, that's just 3 months, January, February, March, has seen its installed energy capacity increase by 86%. 86% in just 3 months. To translate that, that's to 47.7 million kilowatts, which is outstanding. So of all of the energy capacity that was installed in the first quarter of 2023, renewable energy made up 80.3% of that, which does show you how much effort they're making to move away from coal and other dirty sources. 80% of that was renewable energy. In fact, it doesn't really just stop there. The entire installed energy capacity, renewable energy capacity, has reached 1.26 billion kilowatts. These are some big numbers I'm throwing out here right now, but stay with me because it gets even more interesting. And that's out of a total capacity of 2.2 billion kilowatts, which now means that China's renewable energy capacity is now at 50%. That is really good news. So this is really important because China's actually got two deadlines: 2030 for no more coal power plants being built, and 2050 for being net zero or carbon neutral as the entire country, which we think they're probably going to beat that target by at least a few years. But this is already a really strong step. 2023, 50% of the energy comes from renewables. How good is that? But it doesn't stop there. So obviously a lot of this power is coming from both wind and PV, photovoltaic panels, and China's been investing a lot of money in both of these areas. In fact, PV, photovoltaic power generation, has gone up by 27% year on year for this year. Again, another impressive statistic. And this is not just limited to China, of course this is happening all around the world. However, the installed energy capacity in China made up 90% of the world's total last year. So of all of the renewable power projects in the world, China accounted for 90%. Now this is important, obviously, because China manufactures a lot of the goods that we use in the West all over the world. And so for China to start using these renewable sources is only a good thing for all of the world, and only collectively can we tackle this climate crisis together. Now, of course, this is all against the backdrop of coal power. They are still building coal power stations, obviously at a lesser rate than in previous years, but there are still ones being built to this day. Now, their target is 2030 for stopping building coal power plants, but I highly suspect that within the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 2025, 2026, we're actually going to see probably very few actually getting approved or built anymore. The smart money is going into solar, wind, renewables, and that's very clearly evidenced by the huge projects that are happening across China. Let me give you some examples. One of the largest solar projects is the Longyangsha Solar Park, which has 3.5 million solar panels, an outstanding number of solar panels. Then there's another project. The next project is the Tenga Solar Park, which has something like 1,500 megawatts of power and can charge 3.3 million homes, and it's over a site of about 43 hectares. Absolutely ginormous. But these are just two of many. Here's another one. The other one is the Datong Solar Power Top Runner Base, an amazing name, located in Shanxi province, again a capacity of 3 gigawatts. And then there's a Golmud Solar Park, which has 2.2 gigawatts of solar power. These projects are becoming a lot more commonplace across China, and that's only a good thing. But let's move on to wind, where there's been some real progress. The imaginatively named Gansu Wind Farm has a capacity of 7,965 gigawatts. Now this is in Gansu province, second largest one in the world. And there's also offshore wind projects all the way in Guangdong province, which are obviously very important. There's a lot of sea surrounding China, so offshore wind is going to become even more important. One of the biggest offshore wind projects is the Guangdong Yangjiang Shapa offshore wind project, and that's got something like a power capacity of 1.65 gigawatts. Now, because of all this continued investment and growth and building, China's now one of the global leaders in manufacture of these technologies. And now they can ship this across the world, build it in other countries, and help other grids become more sustainable as well. So China's obviously taking significant steps. There's many reasons why, and obviously with China and its size and its scale, it can do this. And it's predicted that by 2050, by taking these steps, we're going to save about 12.2 billion tons of carbon from going into the atmosphere, which is a good thing for everyone, all of mankind across the world. Now, with this growth, this building of these technologies, it's also impacted other industries, other sectors. And one of the biggest is energy storage, energy, batteries and other projects like that. Now, there's a very interesting project which is just about to be completed in a couple of months' time, just north of Shanghai, which is a battery, but like one you've never seen before. I want to do a video on that later. But thanks to that, this industry now employs about 4 million people, which is a huge number of people, and that number is only increasing as we move away from this oil and gas based industry. So whilst coal still maintains a king of energy in China at the moment, it's very rapidly reducing, and in fact wind, solar, nuclear are all coming into the fore much more, and very soon we will not see any more new coal power plants. And this is good news for China, it's a good news for the world, and hopefully this will really begin to clean up the environment in China and help all of us. That's the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now I've started doing something a little bit different. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of informative, quick bit of news from China. Of course, I'm going to cover renewable energy sources, EVs, of course, and all kind of broad energy topics within China, because I think it's quite interesting, it's important for the world, and also it helps me to learn a little bit more about each different industry. So please let me know in the comments, do you like this video? If you don't like this video, what you want to see more of, what you don't want to see more of, and until tomorrow's video, see you then.